and welcome. This is our second Channing Memorial Church summer web service. Our presenter today will have us think about a very important topic, living with dignity. Dignity is one of those qualities that is difficult to define precisely, but we each know it when we meet a person who shows dignity in how they approach other people and how they live their own life. As we light this chalice flame today, may we see this fire as a symbol of the light within us, the beauty of our being regardless of physical appearance or age, that calls us to recognize the inherent worth and dignity we have from the moment of birth. That quality that sets the foundation to live with conscience and ethical behavior, because we know that the actions of one will have an influence over all. We light this chalice and dedicate this service to the remembrance of this spiritual inner light. Janet Grant, the Channing Memorial Church music director, will bring us into the service with music to center our spirit. Ginny Spaulding is our presenter for today's service. Ginny is the newly elected president of Channing Memorial Church. She has headed the church's annual canvass for several years. She sings in the choir and has served as a Sunday worship associate. Ginny is a clinical psychologist practicing in Newport, offering counseling services to adults, couples, and children. I present to you Ginny Spaulding.
Good morning. My talk today is on the topic of dignity, its definition, and what it has to do with where we are now and where we might go from here. So in thinking about our current distressing state of worldly affairs and the unparalleled circumstances in which we find ourselves, it seemed fitting to focus today on a principle that may just be able to help us deal in a more positive way. With high levels of civil unrest, joblessness, personal and community miseries, and COVID-19's ever-present march through humanity, our need to connect, repair, and grow seems clear. The message often preached at times like these is the message of love and the concept of dignity for all life in the interconnected web of existence is the underpinning of our UU principles of seeing value in all that exists. In the book by psychologist and conflict resolution specialist Donna Hicks, entitled Dignity, the essential role it plays in resolving conflict, Dr. Hicks introduces a new model in which dignity is defined in this way. Dignity is an internal state of peace that comes with the recognition and acceptance of the value and vulnerability of all living things. Let me read that one more time. Dignity is an internal state of peace that comes with the recognition and acceptance of the value and vulnerability of all living things. When we are thoughtful about this definition and examine how it applies in our lives, we can get on board with enjoying that internal state of peace. But when this state is linked to the recognition and acceptance of the value and vulnerability of all living things, it starts to get very complicated and not so easy to do. It certainly fits with the fundamental principles of Unitarian Universalist philosophy and our covenant to show dignity to all living things. But when we then look at our own vulnerabilities and those of others, we can see that as a collective culture of humans, maybe we are not doing such a good job at attributing dignity to all creatures, not to mention to other groups of humans, whom we define more by how they are different from us, rather than by their basic and fundamental similarities, essential worth and dignity. Dr. Hicks also pointed out the fundamental difference between dignity and respect, as these are often confused. She pointed out that dignity is a right. It is inherent, whereas respect is something that's earned. So the dignity model that she developed is an approach to conflict resolution that helps people to understand the role that dignity plays in their lives and relationships. Again, to quote Dr. Hicks, "It is what I have observed to be a missing link in our understanding of conflict, our failure to recognize how vulnerable human beings are to being treated as if they didn't matter." So just take a moment to think about times in your own life when you felt like you didn't matter. Think how hard it was to feel that, and how difficult it was to get over whatever it was that triggered that feeling in you. Have you gotten over it yet? Dr. Hicks goes on to say, "It takes effort to learn how to honor the dignity of others, which significantly enhances the experience of being in relationship. A good relationship feels good, but one in which both parties recognize and acknowledge each other's value and worth feels even better. Without the drag that threats place on relationship, both parties feel free to extend themselves to each other, to open up. This is the opposite of being on guard. With safety comes freedom to welcome intimacy and genuine connection." As I look at my own relationships and ask the question, do I have a basic sense of value for the inherent worth of those with whom I am in relationship? I can see that I have some work to do. And then there are other living creatures and the planet itself in asking the same question, how am I in relationship with the animals and the planet? I can again see there is some work to be done. Luckily, in her book, Dr. Hicks outlines the 10 essential elements of dignity and the 10 temptations to violate dignity. As I read through these elements, give some thought to yourself and your experiences of interacting in such ways that enhance dignity and also detract from it. So the essential elements of dignity include: number 1, acceptance of identity. Approach people as being neither inferior nor superior to you, and give them the opportunity to express their authentic selves without fear of being negatively judged. Number 2, inclusion. Make others feel that they belong, whatever the relationship, whether they are in your family, community, organization, or nation. Number 3, safety. Put people at ease at 2 levels: physically, so they feel safe from bodily harm, and psychologically, so they feel safe from being humiliated. Help them feel free to speak without retribution. Number 4, acknowledgement. Give people your full attention by listening, hearing, validating, and responding to their concerns, feelings, and experiences. Number 5, recognition. Validate others for their talents, hard work, thoughtfulness, and help. Be generous with praise and show appreciation for their contribution and ideas. Number 6, fairness. Treat people justly and in an even-handed way, according to the agreed upon laws and rules. People feel you have honored their dignity when you treat them without discrimination and injustice. Number 7, benefit of the doubt. Treat people as trustworthy. Start with the premise that others have good motives and are acting with integrity. Number 8, understanding. Believe that what others think matters. Give them the chance to express and explain their point of view. Number 9, independence. Encourage people to act on their own behalf so they feel in control of their lives and experience a sense of hope and possibility. And number 10, accountability. Take responsibility for your actions. If you have violated the dignity of another person, apologize. Make a commitment to change your hurtful behaviors. Now let's look at the 10 temptations to violate dignity. These include taking the bait. Don't take the bait. Don't let the bad behavior of others determine your own behavior. Restraint is the better part of dignity. Number 2, saving face. Don't succumb to the temptation to save face. Don't lie, cover up, or deceive yourself. Tell the truth about what you have done. Number 3, shirking responsibility. When you have violated the dignity of the other, admit your mistake and apologize if you hurt someone. Number 4, seeking false dignity. Beware of the desire for external recognition in the form of approval and praise. If we depend on others alone for validation of our worth, we are seeking false dignity. Authentic dignity resides within. Number 5, seeking false security. Don't let your need for connections compromise your dignity. If we remain in a relationship where our dignity is routinely violated, our desire for connection has outweighed our need to maintain our own dignity. Number 6, avoiding conflict. Stand up for yourself. Don't avoid confrontation when your dignity has been violated. A violation is a signal that something in the relationship needs changed. Being the victim. Don't assume that you are the innocent victim in a troubled relationship. You may be contributing to the problem. We need to look at ourselves as others see us. Number 8, resisting feedback. Don't resist feedback. We all have blind spots, and we all unconsciously behave in undignified ways. We need to overcome self-protective instincts and accept constructive criticism. Number 9, blaming and shaming others to deflect your own guilt. Control the urge to defend yourself by making others look bad. And number 10, engaging in false intimacy and demeaning gossip. Beware of the tendency to connect by gossiping about others in a demeaning way. Being critical and judgmental of others when they are not present is harmful and undignified. If you want to create intimacy with another, speak the truth about yourself, about what is happening in your inner world, and invite the other person to do the same. As these 10 essential elements of dignity and 10 temptations to violate dignity are complicated and beyond the scope of the presentation today, I invite you to let Dr. Hicks' words and work serve as guides and a challenge for continued personal search for where we each stand with our own dignity now and where we would like to be in the future as we continue to face the personal and collective challenges of our time. If we become more aware and enlightened about where we are in the practice of interacting with dignity, personally and collectively, there is hope for reconciliation within dignity, and internal peace and love can prevail. In closing, let me quote Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu, who wrote in the preface to Dr. Hicks' book. This book is no quick and easy guide to dignity. Suggestions and challenges abound, and the guidelines that will enable us to foster good relationships are clear. But far more significant than any advice given is the driving awareness that permeates this book. That in the concept of human dignity, we have in our hands, as it were, the key to the conundrum of the ages. How can peace on earth be found? Donna Hicks threads the answer clearly through her tale. God gave each of us inherent worth and value. Accept it in yourself. Discover and encourage it in others, and peace may just be possible. We all long that this may become a reality in our aching world. And now I will invite Chris Stevenson to share 3 readings on the topic of dignity.
Good morning, everyone. My first reading is a quote by the Dalai Lama. As long as we observe love for others and respect their rights and dignity in our daily lives, then whether we are learned or unlearned, whether we believe in the Buddha or God, follow some religion or none at all, as long as we have compassion for others and conduct ourselves with restraint and out of a sense of responsibility, there is no doubt we will be happy. My next reading is a quote from Maya Angelou. Dignity. It means a belief in oneself, that one is worthy of the best. It means that what I have to say is important, and I will say it when it's important for me to say it. Dignity really means that I deserve the best treatment I can receive, and that I have the responsibility to give the best treatment I can to other people. I will now end with the poem Dignity by Michael Wynne. Dignity. Dignity is the ability to stand strong and tall in the face of adversity, while being able to bow to the elderly and crawl with the children. Dignity is taking a stand for your beliefs without closing your mind to another's opinion. Dignity is being an example by your deeds and through your words, avoiding gossip, anger, and lies. Dignity will manifest itself in the warmth of your smile, the depth of your love, and kindness for your fellow man.
The hymn, Spirit of Life, is a long-standing element in our chanting Sunday services. I invite you to sing, or to hum, or just listen as Janet Grant plays it now. Our Unitarian and Universalist faith calls us to recognize the worth and inherent dignity of all people, regardless of race, color, sex, sexual orientation or identity, and abilities. And we are called by this principle to affirm our own dignity, to live in ways that honor it. May we then go about our days showing the world how Unitarian Universalists live with dignity. so be it.